All right. Hi, welcome to my commuting case study, where I'm calling it connecting it with the minds and hearts, improving department and classroom. And so a little background of me is that I am a second year math teacher. This is actually my first year teaching math, but I am a second year officially teaching it at Wina Intermediate School under the Teach for America program. And this kind of like all these pictures were from my first year. So a little background on the intermediate is that the statistics is that we have about five admins. Our one principal with his two vice principals, and then about one to two dean of students. And then under that leadership, we have about 150 or more staff and students that are about 700 plus. The philosophy I want to intermediate is that pretty much we're believing that we can continue to grow, have a great campus experience, rich learning experience, even throughout this crazy time after the pandemic. Um, our vision statement is to achieve an excellence in all that we do, April Kello, and also to provide a safe, productive learning environment, curriculum driven by standards and GLOs, and open and timely communication with all stakeholders. So the general stakeholders involved in education is we have our DOE, um, whether we compete, community, union, legislators, everybody involved. Then we have our administration, our leadership team, our faculty and staff, student and parents. Um, Curriculum driven by standards and the GLOs. These are the GLOs, or general learning outcomes, that we hope students will be self-directed learners, community contributors, complex thinkers, quality producers, effective communicators, effective and ethical users of technology. These are some of the standards that is happening within English and also math. But is that really enough? Is that really enough in the fact of we need to be a curriculum driven by standards and a general learning outcomes? In my response, not enough. It's time for the heart and mind to connect, focusing on being learner centered through a competency based perspective throughout math department and classrooms. For example, um, I took two of my students' grades and I looked. I have a student who's all A's and B's. Student one got an A in math. Student B, on the other hand, though, got an F in math. However, looking at their electives, they got B's and A's. What was the difference between electives and math? Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's the way they teach. So I feel that to come up with a game plan of providing a plan that creates a cohesive, relevant, meaningful department. Question number one. Here's some questions. What are the goals of each department, or especially the math department? What are the current measurements for success? Do we have a curriculum that's centered, competency based? If not, could one be developed? So those are kind of like the questions that I asked pretty much throughout my time, just within math department. And pretty much the answer is making each department relevant and meaningful to students. So, of course, here are stakeholders where each of the stakeholders takes a piece of the pie and make it relevant for students. Admin taking their part of being a supporting staff, coaches, students doing their learning, parents being there, and teachers, of course, are building the curriculum. In the math department, we know we have to follow these Common Core standards and also to focus HA indicator, which is a strengthening sense of belonging, strengthening sense of Hawaii, strengthening sense of total well-being, strengthening sense of aloha, excellence, responsibility. But we're really focusing on in the math department the sense of belonging, which really built into this class. And it was just easy to really talk about the math grammar. What we're hoping is that our vision is to provide students with a culturally responsive pedagogy that empowers students to be advocates of this place, develop lifelong learners, create a strengthened sense of self, while demonstrating high cognitive mastery of the Common Core math standards. Our year, our mission is by the end of the year, our students will be able to apply their mastery of the Common Core math standards to real world scenarios within the community of their life. And what we live by that is Ilaba ika a o a malama a ehe oi mau na ao na ao, which means he who takes his teachings and applies them increases his knowledge. In other words, we're hoping that they take what they learn and increase it. Unfortunately, when talking to my students and doing analysis of math class, normally this is what I hear. It's too hard. Why do we need math? I don't care about math. Who cares about that? We did this last year and every single year. Why are we doing it again? Why are we doing math again? Can we do something else instead? Those are some of the top 5 things I hear in my classroom, especially when I started with my students. Like a lot of them were not safe. I'm not sure if I talk about that a little bit more. But those are like the top things around, or even around similar things like math. I don't need math. I hear that one a lot. And also too, sometimes it's this. Sometimes it's the teachers. It's not even the students. It's some teachers do not put the effort in. Finishes the assignment in less than 5 minutes. Like they give a packet and students just finish in less than 5 minutes because it might be too easy or it's meaningless and they just, and then also teachers sometimes don't find math enjoying themselves either. It becomes meaningless for them to do it because no accountability or measurement. Really, I mean, there is measurement, but not measurement on how they're teaching in the way that they should teach it on a daily basis, not just only when it matters. And so, creating a curriculum that is responsive to students' interests and needs. The vision for me, well, actually, especially for our math class, it's amongst the school, is to make math more relevant to our students. Use other ways besides testing to show student growth. Answer the question: do students feel safe in math class to learn? Those are like kind of my things, key points of what I find in the vision. And my response is it's a great start of what we're doing, of making it meaningful. But the question is, how are we going to measure it for SEL and life skills? Using social, emotional, and life skills in the math sense. So my suggestion is math is skill interventions with a touch of building student emotional learning and life skills to make it relevant to students and help them make connections. In other words, having students become more involved with their math skills in a way that continues to build their development in the way they manage their emotions, the way they interact with each other, and also to couple life skills that could matter. Have students either create projects or portfolios to show growth in their student emotional learning and life skills while learning math. And also, students should get a say on what they want to learn or know more about in relation to their culture, identity, and future, while still incorporating math. Also, here are some things that I have been doing, whether with my department or by myself. I have been doing this, or we have been doing this, I can statement goals and check-in. So we'll use this sheet that will have check-in on progress. So before we start the unit, we do this pre-section where the students tell us, I really don't know it, or I kind of know it, or yeah, I definitely know it. That way we can kind of tell of who is somebody who might start from the very beginning, somebody who might start being in the middle, and someone who's like, I mastered it. And that'll kind of help us to check checking on the part, and then when we do mid and post, we're checking out the progress, see what part they are just still struggling in, and also to we come up with the goals and steps along the way so that students can feel like they are accomplishing things and they're not just like, oh, I still don't know it. Um, this also to can let students choose what steps they want to start at to take in order to be successful, whether it's I want to start from different triangles, or you know what, I'm really good at different triangles to explain the slopes, but I'm kind of struggling in comparing two different proportional relationship represent in different ways. So maybe I want to work with that. And so it kind of like those kinds of goes of where students can kind of choose those kind of things. And so even though I can be doing one big lesson, students can choose where their strength is and can determine the pieces that will help them and make all the connections throughout the whole time. Another one that I've worked on is figuring out the class space. This is something that I have right now. Um, I have made my tables like these, and my desk is right this like right now. What I'm hoping is to have this little extra corner of space to where they can relax, where they can have that sense of community to really just decompress from everything, like take a 5 minute decompression. That's what I'm hoping to have in my class. It's just that I'm in a portable, so it makes it smaller, but it makes it more clutter. But I'm hoping to really utilize the space in a more meaningful way. Community building. So what I have been doing lately, in community building, or what my team has been doing also is, from the very beginning, we built this idea of Team Pu'u Vibe, which means Team Heart, which behind that is the vision of that we will be teaching from the heart, not teaching from the just the mind or for the mindset of curriculum, standards, school. No, it's from the heart. Not only this mind, but the heart comes in it well. And then that's why every morning my kids get to see my door, where it says welcome to Pu'ubai, make today amazing, and all those different things. And then throughout the time of our first quarter, this was during Spirit Week, where we got to dress up as coaches, um, got to dress up as westernized people. And this is just me, my top three favorites um, dress ups. And then also, too, we got to dress up as well, actually, this one was the best part for us. Before Spirit Week even happened, our team decided we need to make kids feel safer, make kids more happy because we were dealing with so much behaviors at the time that it was so messed up. We're like, you know what, we need to do something as a team. And so, right here, Tammy, she decided, you know what, let's dress up. And actually, we dressed up this day. Literally, she brought all the costumes. And from there, our students were smiling, our students were happy. They were like, oh my gosh, like they entered our classes, like what is going on? But it still was a good day. Even to the point that that day, we did not even have too much behaviors. It was like students were actually paying attention to us, students were enjoying us. And actually, now that I really reflect on this, when we were dressing up on each day, our students were enjoying us to the most of even like when we were dressed as this. Like our students were really enjoying our dress ups. Seeing us be part of the community, us participating in the school's culture. And there's something that I did on my own in my school, in my classroom, was build community standards. Um, I didn't build it myself actually. My students, I gave them a list, about 100 words plus, and they chose as groups and then as a collective if these were the words that they agreed upon as a class. And I drew it, and each of them signed it with even my name being signed onto this paper saying that we all are coming together to agree that we're going to follow these community standards. And I told them that if I don't see them doing that, I will call them out on it. Um, and also they can do the same for me. If I'm not being fun, they need to call me out on it. If I'm not being focused, if I'm not being responsible, if I'm not communicating with them, respecting them, being a leader to them, loving them, being peaceful, disciplining them, they can call me out on it. And also too, it's the same thing for them where I'm expecting where there is going to be discipline, there is going to be love, self-respect, communication, responsible responsibilities, respectfulness. We are going to have fun, but fun in the right way, not fun in the wrong way where it messes up the real fun. And making sure that we are focused on the main goals. So another thing that I did on to make sure that my students just really see how my kids were before entering my math class, I did this thing called math pre-mindset. When I first met them, and it was something that I really thought it was a really great idea because it gave me a sense of where are my kids' mindset at this moment when it comes to math. Because I know math is not gonna be math is not something that I know is easy for my kids. I know that it's really, really hard, but how is it getting any better? And so what I did was so a couple of the questions actually I have two students different answers where they were actually quite a bit of them were kind of like these two answers when I asked, how much do you like math? Two and one. Really that was like the popular answer. I was like, I really don't like math. And then one of them said, when I asked, what are ways that Miss Lila can make math fun for you? Um, having no work. And so that kind of was like, okay, well, unfortunately, we can't have that. We got to do the work. But that was the mindset before because they did not want to do anything. They really didn't want to learn. They really were just like, can we just sit through the class and that's it? But after the first quarter, after when we got to the last day of first quarter, I gave them another reflection, their quarterly reflection, and I asked these questions. I changed some of them and I said, like, did you feel safe in math class? And 100%. A lot of them said yes. Is there anything new you want me to know about? A lot of them kept telling me like I was amazing. Like keep teaching us, like you're doing great. Like, um, and I would ask instead of like no work, they're like, Miss, add more videos. Let's go outside instead. You know what, Miss, have more games. And a lot of them did have an improvement in relationship with math. Um, some of them were still like in a two, or instead of ones, it two. Like it moved up just a little. Like I took that still, and I did see threes and fours and fives. Like it improved so much. And then also too, one that is actually missing, a question that's missing is what does math mean to you? And a lot of them started to realize that math means a lot um to them, realizing that math means everything to them. That was the top answer I kept seeing was math is something that I need in life. And for me to see that on their reflection was to see these kind of answers felt like I did my job. I didn't care if they knew how to computate something. I didn't care if they knew the Pythagorean theorem. I didn't care if they knew exponents or anything like that. My main focus actually was, is math better for you? Because if I don't have math better for my kids, I knew math was not gonna get through to them. And actually, I'm starting to see that a lot in my second quarter is that my kids are catching on a lot quicker in math now because I caught their attention and got their heart a lot faster during quarter one. Now it's all about rebuilding continuously, rebuilding that relationship with them and me as a teacher and themselves as students and also to individually and also to build making sure that I'm repairing the relationship between them and math. Because I know that math was a lot for them these past years. And especially because a lot of them were like, I've been learning math on the computer all these years. all I've been doing was really just work. Or someone like, I don't know my multiplication, I don't know my division, I don't know my addition and subtraction. And instead of making them feel dumb, it's like, hey, it's okay, let's work, let's get through this together. And that's the greatest thing I can ask for is really ways I can make sure that they are feeling safe in my class, that they are feeling like they can make the mistakes, and then I'll just give them the feedback to say, hey, I you were so close in this. Let me show you the right way. And so actually, I'm hoping in the more my hopes in the future is to be a little bit more organized and work on my organization on making sure that my students are getting everything they need while still touching their hobbies, making more relevant connections, consistent on this, data collecting a lot better, but data collecting on their growth and their assets really, besides the data collecting about their tests and their different skills. Classroom managing it, especially on days that is a little extra hard for them. I'm hoping that our department can continue to be more student-led, a student-led organization with math. Connecting students even deeper with math, multiple outlets of where they can express math, as also two ways they can express real math while also still focusing on it. Myself is more so holding my ground on areas that they do need help, while also finding ways for them to be a little bit more self-centered in building that relationship with us and not just depending on me. Um, for me, it's meaning what I say, making sure everything I tell them it's meaningful and not just anything else. And also to making sure I'm giving them the data and feedback to my students so that it just makes more sense to them. And also to it makes them feel like they are part of their learning and not just this, oh, I have like because I don't know what's going on at my own. Working is not going to be as meaningful. So that's my hope in the futures of that everything is more so centered for the students and all of these different things, these different skills that I'm planning to work on. Really is to just really continue building it where students are continuing to feel safe, are continuing to feel positive, and feeling like they can do the best. And so, in conclusion, my hopes also are creating a space for better communication between students, understand that we have to push beyond our norm, and meet the mind and heart in math class because it's not always just about doing calculations and equations. It's about also touching their heart and making sure that they're safe and belonging in math class. And so, thank you for listening, and let's create that joyous, self centered, belonging community of math. Right? Have a great one.